Smoak.
It is the calendar, the date, the month, whatever changes from the college football season ending. There'll be some all-star games, etc., Senior Bowl, and eventually there'll be the draft. The NFL starting their playoffs, and I thought it would be a good time to reach out to Ourlads, Jon Cooper, the associate GM and senior draft analyst for Ourlads Guide to the NFL Draft. It is a fantastic publication. Jon, welcome back. We appreciate you. You start to get your things going, and is it kind of the start of your juice start flowing a little bit more?
Oh, for sure. In a big week, day next week, when we find out, how many juniors are actually or underclassmen are actually going to come out.
Jon, looked at the top 32. You guys have Jayden Daniels as the number one overall player. You have Caleb Williams at 7. Why Jayden jumping up when, most people just kind of have Caden or have Caleb Williams like right there at number 1, but you guys assessed it a little bit differently.
Yeah, we do. And our main rationale for that is he grades out so well at every aspect of quarterback play. He can run. He processes well. He's got good size. I mean, there really aren't a lot of flaws that we see, in him, and we think he's going to be an excellent pro quarterback.
Elsewhere, Drake May, obviously one of the other top targets. What is it about Drake May and his intangibles that stands out to you guys, given how much talk is about him currently? We
like him as a leader. We think he's we like the way he plays the game, the way he processes coverages. He does a lot of things very, very well. He's got a couple of mechanical flaws that we picked up on, and we think those things are correctable. We hope they're correctable anyway, but it's going to be, something that in the analysis people are going to really look at as to how high he's going to go. I mean, I know the media loves him. A lot of the draft analysts out there are very enamored with him. We think he's potentially a top 10 quarterback. We've got him a little lower right now. We're going to do another top 32 another week or so. And he and Caleb Williams, along with Daniels, are going to be probably, top 10 guys before it's over.
Jon, he might go to a team, and I know you haven't matched up really players and teams yet because there's a lot to go with that, but he might be a part of a team that already has Sam Howell as a North Carolina guy. But what would you say are the differences between May, who's highly thought of, compared to Howell coming out of college with North Carolina?
Well, I think Howell was kind of a one-read quarterback. He did a lot of things well. We worried a little bit about his ability to make all the throws coming out. He kind of liked to take off and run. It was like one read and run, as far as that goes. But he's still a quality, quarterback, good velocity on his passes. May is a little bit more of a complete player, coming out, we think. In spite of one thing, getting the ball outside the numbers and the intermediate balls sometimes has been a problem for him, and that's something that NFL teams are going to have to address. But I think with Howell was a little bit more, we thought, one-dimensional, in terms of the kind of offense that he would prosper in.
Jon, this is if you need a wide receiver, this is the year to go shopping for one in the draft, especially in the first round, which there could be like as many as 8 or 9 taken. Obviously Marvin Harrison and Rome Odunze and Keon Coleman, guys like that. But is this maybe the deepest wide receiver class? And last year's was really deep as well.
No question about it. I mean, this class has talent, from top to bottom, and I think you've got some top-end receivers. I mean, I think the first 2 rounds could have 14, 15, receivers in it. So it's a really good class. You've got size, those outside receivers that are big. You've got guys that can run, very good vertical threats, guys that can stretch the field, and you've got, some guys that can play in the slot too. Really good quickness, and there's some guys that really do a lot of things well. And if you need a receiver, you should be able to get one this year.
Jon, we know kind of what's happened with the running back position in the draft in recent years. You have Blake Corum, as it currently stands, as your top guy. Bijan, we know last year where he went, he was kind of a unicorn and an outlier. But is the running back position, has the the feel or the thoughts on that and spending a high pick on that changed at all, or is that continuing to be the trend you feel like outside of a special player like a Bijan breaking that mold?
Yeah, I think that's still the case. I mean, Blake Corum we really like as a player more than anybody for a number of reasons. He's strong. You know, he doesn't have that agility in traffic that you look for in the absolute complete back. He's not real big, but he's got some intangibles going for him, and, we like him a lot. He's probably not going to go in the first round, and when push comes to shove, I don't think there will be a first-round running back this year, and there's nobody that's totally that special. There's some powerful guys. There's some guys with some speed, but you don't have that blend of everything you want in a running back like you might find in a Bijan.
John, back to the quarterback position with Jayden Daniels, 6'4", will get bigger because you're going to be a part of the NFL. That the size of May. What are your thoughts about Caleb Williams' size? He does have the arm. He can run. Is there any concern about what he does when it comes to looking and reading a defense?
Well, not as much as there used to be. With guys getting in the shotgun, guys moving around more, that obviously when going back in the day when you had a 5'10", 5'11", seasoned 6'1" quarterback, you were a little worried about that. But in today's NFL, it's not as big of an issue. That said, the size is still important. If you can find a guy that's 6'4" and can move around like Daniels can, that's going to be something you're going to factor in. And Caleb Williams, has some Patrick Mahomes-like things. Everybody's looking for that. He can throw the ball from different arm slots and things of that nature. The thing that, NFL coaches worry about when they're bringing a quarterback in and they want him to play right away is his ability to process. You don't have to do those kinds of things as much in many college offenses. And Caleb Williams, that's going to be something he's going to have to show that he can do, and that is a concern.
John, the process for you kind of go about this with what you have to do for Ourlads. Teams have their board or whatever, but there's a lot of games to be played, all-star type games. By the way, I want to say this before we get to another question, and we'll get to it in a minute. Chris Lowe of ESPN is reporting that Nick Saban has informed his football team that he is retiring.
Wow.
There was a lot of that, and I never believed it, and there's a lot of people that thought that was going to happen, but just your thoughts as a football man, that decision, and at least the story with Nick Saban.
Well, he's a great coach, obviously. He's a hard coach, somewhat hard to work for from coaches that I've known that have been on his staff. But, as far as his ability to coach, his ability to command a football team, it's unquestionable. I admired him from the fact that he coached the corners for many, many years. And even recently, he's been a hands-on coach. It's great to see that, in my mind. And I've always admired him for those things.
Well, he puts NFL players in the league like nobody else.
No question. Alabama corners, and he coached the corners. They are extremely well drilled, and he had an old school philosophy in what he taught in terms of the fundamentals of corner play. And as an old coach myself, I really admired that. He was terrific that way.
One of those Kool-Aid McKinstry that's in the draft this year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Terry and Arnold.
And those two guys are potentially first-round picks, and very well coached. And you can see there's a lot of Alabama corners that are doing very well in the NFL.
John, thanks for your time, and I will be in touch. Hopefully we'll have a string of segments with you over the next 3 or 4 months leading up to the draft. Love your knowledge and analyst work. Thank you for your time.
Hey, you bet. Appreciate it, and I love being on with you.
Yeah, you too. Jon Cooper, Ourlads Scouting Service, Ourlads.